Right, good morning, and thank you very much for joining me again today, 2 February 2020. And today I'm joined by Taa Tomondo from the United States of America. How are you, Taa?
How are you doing today, my brother? Pardon?
Where were you born?
So I grew up in Tafara. All my life, I was in Tafara. So for those that don't know, Tafara is a high-density suburb. By high-density suburb, it's a ghetto. That's where I grew up.
Is your family now moved to the United States? Is everybody still there?
My parents really hated here. So they moved back to Mabvuku. Right now, they're in Mabvuku.
Okay, that's amazing, man. And it's a blessing to have your parents still alive.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. And I think a lot of my confidence, I got it from my parents because, they got my back anytime like I got in trouble in school. They'll know I'm wrong in public. They'll correct me in private, if that makes sense. So I always got the love and it always gave me that confidence. So I'm really grateful for that.
Okay. And your brother?
Oh, my brother is still back in Zimbabwe. My dad used to work for the American Embassy. So if you work for the American Embassy for a certain time, they'll give you, if you retire, you're retired. You give you your family like green cards to move to the United States. So I moved here when I was like 18 and about to turn 19, I think. I think that was in 2012. So me and my dad, we moved first in August, and then my mom and my other sister, they followed like 2 or 3 months afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you go to the States, did you go into school or did you start business immediately?
So my dad thought like I was really good in school. That was his mindset, like I'm really good in school, so I gotta continue going to school. So I came here and I started college. I started college and I was taking business administration. That was my major. So I went to a community college. So for those that are not familiar, a community college is cheaper than a 4-year school. 4-year schools are expensive. So if you go, a community college is a 2-year school. So for 2 years, I went to a community college. But when I was at that community college, I realized that I'm not meant to go to school, if that makes sense to you. I want to be an entrepreneur. Here, school is so easy. The A-level classes that I took at St. Ignatius, that's the classes I was taking in college. So it was easy. I didn't have to read for it. So it didn't bother me that much. But I was thinking like, where am I going with this? I want to be an entrepreneur. And then my second year, I was like, man, this is not working. But now I think the reason that motivated my parents to move to the States is because of me. Because they thought like, oh, this guy is smart. He needs to go to school. We need to give our son the best education he can get. So I moved to a 4-year school. When I got to my 4-year school and when I was in my senior year, I started a little business on the side. Then I didn't even tell my parents about it. So I was doing a little business on the side. So when I started making money from the little business on the side, then that's when I had confidence to go and tell my dad that I don't want to go. I didn't tell him I don't want to go to school. I just told him I want to take a break. Up to now, I told him like I'm going to take a break. That's what I told him. Okay. So that break, but I think he realized like this guy is never going to go to school. But my dad is really open-minded and he's been very supportive. Even when I went to him, he wasn't happy. I could tell from his expression. So I dropped out in my senior year. So senior year is like the time that you're about to graduate. That's when like it doesn't make sense for me. It's just a piece of paper. I want to be in business. I don't want to be an employee. So that's to answer your question. So that's what happened with school.
All right. So 2012, and for how many years were you in college?
12, 13, 14, I think. 3 years.
Okay. Your business, is it easy to start a business in the States?
This is the thing. I came to the States with the Zimbabwe mentality. So the Zimbabwe mentality, I'll say this again. There is a difference between being an entrepreneur and being a hustler. So I'm going to explain. If you're an entrepreneur, you look at an opportunity or an idea that you want to execute. You need to make sure that you're in that space for the next coming 3 to 5 years. That's where you're going to be. But if you're a hustler, you see an opportunity to make money. You just want to make money. That's what you want to do, right? So you don't see yourself in that space for 3 to 5 years. But being a hustler is not sustainable. If you want a long-term thinking, because I changed my vision, because the Zimbabwe mentality, growing up in Zimbabwe, because of their economic situation, you have a short-term vision.
Okay.
because of the way we're brought up, because of our economy. You know how the economy is. You can't think long term. You're thinking like, what am I going to eat tomorrow? You're not thinking about what am I going to be doing 10 years or 20 years from now. So I had that short-term vision. So that's when I realized, like, you know, I think my first 2 businesses was to make cash quick. That's what I was drawing. But I realized, like, I'm all over the place. I'm not really building anything. I want to build something. And then when I got into entrepreneurship, to be honest, it was all to make money. It wasn't about to save people. And when I was making that money, I was spending it recklessly, to be honest. I wasn't even saving, because I thought, like, you know, I'm going to be still making the same amount of money for a long time. Then I become like literally broke. It was so bad for me for a long time, but nobody knew about it. But I'm just going to tell you now, I made so much money, and my parents didn't even know about it, because I was bringing like different cars, and I'll tell them that's my friend's car, but it was my cars because I was buying them. But I didn't want them to know what's going on in my life. You know, I didn't want them to be nosy. So what happened is that I went broke. A lot of people didn't know about it. That's when I started to think, like, you know, entrepreneurship is not about making myself rich. How can I help other people?
Right. So that was 2014, 2015, 2016.
2016, I think, because I moved to Vegas. Okay. Vegas changed my life. And that was the worst mistake I made. No matter how much you're making, that place will take your money if you're not careful. So when I moved to Vegas, then I started meeting other people that are doing different things, you know, like changing their communities and stuff like that. Some other entrepreneurs. That's when I started seeing entrepreneurship from a different perspective. And when the money was gone too, that's when I started saying, like, okay, there's more to it. You need to save your people. Like, if I was saving people and I was making money and the money was gone, I think I was going to be in a better space, because I see the difference that I've made in my community, if that makes sense to you.
It does. Yeah. So you know why I'm asking all these questions? Most of the people who are going to be watching this have never been to the States.
Yeah.
So we need to paint a picture for people about how you can start a business in the United States, because everything is there. So the kind of business you start, what kind of business do you start?
It's easy to start a business in the States. That I'll tell you, because the one thing that us as Africans, we don't have, it's called access. Not access to capital, but just access. In the States, there's a thing like the internet. I think the internet is the most powerful tool that we have in our generation. In Africa, we don't have so much access to the internet. Because me, that's one problem I want to solve for Africa, is to give people access, because access is powerful. Once you give people access to online access, man, it will change everything. Believe it or not, because I've seen it. And a lot of things that I've studied myself is because I had access to the internet. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of partnerships and a lot of business that I've started is because of the internet. If I didn't have that internet, I don't think I'll be here or doing anything or thinking like, 5 years from now, what am I going to be doing? I won't have that long-term thinking. So I think access is the problem that is something that's different. Like, you know, if you're from Africa, that's the advantage that I have from someone who's in Africa. It's called access, and access is important. So once we solve that problem of access in Africa, I think that's when you can get to compete with American entrepreneurs. So that's the advantage that I have over my African brothers, to be honest.
So since you've been in the States, have you been in Zimbabwe?
I came to Zimbabwe. The first time I moved to the States, I went back to Zimbabwe after 3 months because I hated the States so much. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody. I was like, I hate this place. I'm going to go back to Zimbabwe. But you know what happened? When I got back to Zimbabwe, I didn't like it anymore because I knew the other world on the other side. I went in February of 2013. Then after that, I never went back to Zimbabwe. That's when I went. So I think it was like after 5 or 6 months after I moved here.
Okay, but you've got no experience of working in Zimbabwe?
Never worked in Zimbabwe. The only time I worked was in my dad's business. So my dad, what he did, he owned a truck. So the truck, you tell me, because my dad, I told you, he didn't give me any money. So you tell me like, if you want to make money, go out to the driver to, I forgot the name, in Goromonzi somewhere, there's a mine somewhere. Yes. So there were people that used to sell things over there. So we'll go with the truck and we'll carry people, and then they'll pay us to carry them to go and sell to the miners over there. So that's how I made my money. So whatever amount I make, I'll bring it to my dad, and he'll pay me and the driver.
Yeah, you know what? I want to end with, if you can show us, let's say on an average day,
yeah,
what does your day look like? What do you do when you wake up to the end when you sleep?
Can I tell you the truth? I sleep a lot, but I sleep in 4 hours, 2 hours. Sometimes I'll reach out to an entrepreneur, like, do you want to come on my podcast and do this podcast? And then sometimes I'll reach out to a business partner, and I have so much business going on. I believe in partnerships. So a lot of my success has been through partnerships. I believe I cannot do all the things by myself. So with partnerships, the problem with partnerships now, because I just started getting into partnership 2 years ago, I used to work just by myself. Me, I'm a guy that likes to take action. But with partnerships, you can't just take action. You wait on other people. So that really is, sometimes people will take 2 days to respond to you. So sometimes I'm texting people hey, are we doing this? Hey, are we doing this? And my other part is I connect people as well. We're working on this project. Do you want to jump on this project and work with us? That takes time. So some people don't get back to you. So I wake up sometime, I'll be in bed working. If somebody comes, they'll be like, oh, he's sleeping. But sometimes I'll wake up for 2 hours, respond some emails, text people, and then record the podcast, go to bed. And then the entertainment business, I'm the marketing guy, I'm the social media guy. So now I got to post things to keep people excited and to figure out what's going on. I have to check out the people that are doing events in the city as well. Okay, these people are doing this better. How can I? Sometimes I have to copy. I don't even copy people in my city only. I have to copy other people in Miami. What are they doing? Can I do this as well? How can this work here? So that's sometimes I read. Sometimes I have to read. And I have my mentor. So for now, I'm staying with my mentor for a year. She's a financial advisor as well, but she used to work for the Pentagon. So she worked in Africa. She's very brilliant. She's very smart. So sometimes we just kick it for 2 hours, exchanging my ideas. And she too, she wants to start some businesses, and she'll be throwing them at me in Africa and see how. So yeah, that's basically my day.
Okay, my goal with these discussions that we're having is I would want to see you in Africa before the end of next year.
I'm definitely in Africa in August, because I was telling you about my partnerships with my guys in Kenya and my guys in Botswana. We're definitely doing 2 workshops in Kenya and in Botswana. I want to get in Zimbabwe, but I'm still hesitant about it.
All right, great stuff. Is there anything you want to say before we shut this down?
If you want to start something, be confident. You don't have to listen to anybody. If you have a feeling that this is a great idea, if somebody tells you it's not a good idea, do it. Because it's your vision. No one is going to share your vision with you.
Thank you very much, Taa Tomondo. Very, very interesting discussion. From Mabvuku, Tafara.
Still a Mabvuku person. I want to make changes in Mabvuku as well too. Yeah.